The only reason he's not dead, Marty, is because I don't want him dead. When I want him dead, he dies. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Joining a gang never protect anyone. If a gang wants you or your family dead, they just do it. The only reason I don't kill him, really, it's because I'm afraid of him. I know if I kill him, I will be killed by his wife, his son. Someone will do the job.
Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the 1990 film Angel Town. So Angel Town stars Oliver Gruner, Teresa Saldana, and Peter Wong. So this movie, I saw this movie originally like way back in 1990, like when it was a new movie. A friend of mine rented it, and I'm not exactly sure. I think it came on, I don't know if he rented it or it just came on cable, and we watched it on there. But anyway, we both really liked this movie. And this is a B-grade action movie that I've watched like a few times over the years. And the reason why I like it, well, at the time, it just had like a lot of really good fight scenes, and I thought anyway, when I watched it originally, me and my friend. But over the years, when I came back and revisited it, it's got a lot of unintentional humor in it, and it's to the point where it's like cartoonish, and it's one of those like guilty pleasures. Now the movie has Oliver Gruner as lead, and Oliver Gruner, he always reminded me of like back in the 70s when they had the Bruce Lee guys that were like Bruce Lee, and they'd even try to market them like they were Bruce Lee, like Bruce Lee knockoffs. Well, this guy kind of reminded me, it's him and another guy. There were two guys that reminded me of, they were like Jean-Claude Van Damme knockoffs or imitations. It's like they wanted a guy that was kind of like Van Damme, but they couldn't get Van Damme, so they would get this guy or the other guy. That's what I always thought. But watching a lot of his fights and stuff, I always wondered why he never became a bigger star. And was it because he was too much like Van Damme? And if he had gotten discovered first, would he have been as popular as Van Damme? Because looking at Van Damme's older movies and watching Oliver Gruner in his older movies, in my opinion, Oliver Gruner could have played in just as good in any of Jean-Claude Van Damme's movies. That's just my opinion. Like, he could have done Cyborg just as good. He could have done Bloodsport just as good, or Kickbox, or any of those. So I wonder if it's just who got discovered first. It's just because Van Damme got discovered before maybe Oliver Gruner. I'm not sure. But that's just something I was wondering about. Now, as for the fight scenes in this movie, what I like about this is I kind of find with newer martial arts movies that I watch, it's like the fighting is almost like too slick looking. It seems like that's what happened ever since The Matrix came out. Like they all kind of emulated that really slick style of fighting. Where in some of the older martial arts movies, like this one, it's more like ground level, more like rugged, gritty, like type of fighting where you can really feel the punches and kicks and stuff. Now, as for the plot's pretty simple. So Oliver Gruner is he's gonna go to the United States. He's in France. He's gonna go to the USA, Los Angeles, on a sports scholarship because they need him for some kind of sports leader of some sports committee or something, which they never get into, and you never really see how that works. He's going to be studying at this university in Los Angeles. So he shows up there as a student, and he needs somewhere. Now, there's quite a few plot holes in this, things that don't make sense in this movie. But anyway, so he shows up there as a student, and he needs a place to stay. But he got there late, so all the student housing at this point has all been taken up. So the only place left is like in the bad part of town. Well, we have some housing in this part of town, but I don't think you want to go past. There's a certain street they found. This street, you don't go past the street because the town's, it's really rough. There's a lot of gangs in that neighborhood. And so literally in the movie, it's divided literally one street. He's on one side street, everything's nice. Literally across the street, it's like a war zone. Like that's how close the divide is. It's not like a transitional thing or nothing, right? That's how they portrayed it in the movie. And so he decides to go there anyway, and he comes to this house, and there's a Latino family living there. And the woman doesn't really want to take him in. She goes, well, we told the university to take her name off the list. She told him, I don't know if you want to be in this neighborhood. So he says, you know what? He makes the deal. Just let me stay here a few nights till I can find something else, because I have nowhere else to go. So now this woman has a son who is getting bullied by a local gang. They want him to join this gang. So I think it's a Mexican gang. They want him to join this Mexican gang, and he doesn't want it. So they've been terrorizing him and terrorizing wife and the grandmother. And so he basically becomes the defender of this family and sticks up for this kid. And that's where all the action takes off. So there's a few things in this movie that now it's a B movie, right? But like there's quite a few plot holes. Like first of all, he shows up there and he says, well, I don't have anywhere to live. But then later on, he tells the kid, well, here's my friend Henry, who owns this martial arts school, and he could, and can you keep this kid for a while? And Henry's doesn't seem like he's that much further from the school than the kid's house, so that didn't make sense. And then he bought a sports car while he was there, and that didn't make sense because he wanted a place that was in walking distance of the school because he didn't have a vehicle. But if he could just go out and buy a vehicle anyway, he could have bought a vehicle and stayed with his friend that owned the martial arts school. And, well, I guess if he did that, we'd have no movie, I guess. So there's, like, big plot holes like that in the movie. And, but the action is almost, like, nonstop in the movie. Lots of fighting. And the Mexican gang is almost, like, cartoonish. Like, they're so over the top. Especially the leader. He's got, like, a little pencil-thin mustache. And the reason he's leader is he's got, like, this Uzi. Because at the beginning of the movie, he's seen, like, a gang of guys fighting, and one guy pull out an Uzi and shoot a bunch of these other gang members. And then he kind of clicked in his head, oh, if I can get myself an Uzi, I'll be like top dog. So he has this big stretched out car that's a convertible, and he doesn't drive it himself. He just gets his girlfriend to drive it all over the place, and he just sits up on the back seat almost like he's in a chariot or something going around. And the gang leader's name is Angel, which I thought was amazing because the story takes place in Los Angeles, which is sometimes known as Angel Town, plus the gang leader's name is Angel, and he runs that part of town, so it's all, like, makes sense why it's called Angel Town. But, yeah, so I really like the character of the gang leader because he was just so over the top. And then the two guys that live across the street, they kind of live in a bus, and then they're across and they're always, like, watching what the kid's doing, and they're, like, really over the top, and so it's, like, really crazy stuff like that in there. And they finally have one big blowout fight at the end. So, spoiler alert, they have a big blowout fight at the end. And they just throw stuff in there that doesn't make sense. So they're fighting away, but they don't, the good guys don't really shoot they don't really shoot any of the gang members to kill, because there's the neighbor is like a Vietnam vet who lost the use of his legs due to, I guess, the Vietnam War. But he finds a way to get over to help the kid because at the end of the movie, the gang's surrounding his house because they want to burn his house down and kill the mother and all this kind of thing. And he's got a gun, but he's only got so many bullets. Then the Vietnam vet, he gets in there and he's got, like, an assault rifle and all that. So he shoots some of the gang members, but he just hits them, like, in the shoulder or the leg or something like that. And then the big brawl breaks up. But there's one scene they threw in there where Oliver Gruner is fighting these guys, and he breaks one guy's neck. Like, it's a quick scene. He breaks one guy's neck, and I was thinking, what? He just killed that guy. Like, how are they going to explain that to cops? How is he going to explain that when he goes back to school? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, I understand, like, maybe shooting a guy in the leg or busting a guy's arm or something like that, because you're not permanently killing him. But, like, they just kind of randomly threw that one scene in there that kind of, like, didn't really make any sense. And then the movie kind of ends with the main gang member. He squares off against the kid. First, he wants to fight Oliver Gruner because Oliver Gruner throws a piece of dynamite in his convertible and blows his car up along with his gun. So then they fight. And so he doesn't stand a chance against Oliver Gruner, but then his friend Henry, the guy who owns the martial arts school, tells him, like, stop, no, the kid's got to handle this. He's got to fight this for himself. So then the kid, they duke it out, but the kid beats him, kicks crap at him. Then at the end of it, you can see all of his gang members realizes, this guy's a loser we've been following. So, then that's it. They kind of settle the score there. We assume they leave the kid alone, and the gang loses all of its power. And then at the very end, you kind of see the cops show up or whatever. But this is if you like those 80s, 90s, like, B action movies, this is a must-see, I think, anyway. This is one you should pick up. This is, I haven't seen a lot of Oliver Gruner's films, but out of the ones I've seen, my two favorites so far is Angel Town and Nemesis. So if you're going to watch any of his movies, I would say watch two of those. Those are pretty good ones. And I know he's done lots more, and there's actually lots of his movies I haven't seen yet. But I plan on checking more out in the future. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.